Disability Pride Month, and not a lot of people know that. There are a lot of aspects about disability that a lot of people don't actually know, including fellow disabled people. So in honor of Disability Pride Month, we thought we'd talk about some of them. We've come up with a list of 10 things that you might not know about disability. If you don't know who we are, hi, we're Ali and Macy, and we're both visually impaired. We did our best to represent all different types of disability with this video, but just to let you know, that's the perspective that we have. Before we get started, we wanted to let you know that we're currently running a summer sale over on our Patreon. You can head over there to get postcards, video messages, and other cool things from us at a discounted price. All the proceeds go towards supporting our creative endeavors, so we really appreciate any support you can give. We'll put the link in the description. The sale lasts until the end of September, so if you're watching this video before then, check it out! Support two disabled creators! If you can't or don't want to, that's okay too. Any support, whether it's financial or not, helps so much. Okay, on with the video. Here are 10 things you might not know about disability. Number 1. Disability benefits are not as glamorous as able people tend to think they are. There are a lot of flaws with the SSI system here in America, and here are just some of them. A disabled person receiving SSI benefits cannot own more than $2,000 at a time without losing those benefits. This makes saving for large expenses or emergencies impossible and forces disabled people into poverty. Also, if they get married, they'll lose some or all of their benefits, even if they marry another disabled person. A lot of these regulations haven't been updated in over 30 years, but there is hope. There's a bill in Congress right now called the SSI Restoration Act, which, if passed, would provide a lot of amazing updates to the SSI system. It would raise the current $2,000 savings limit to $10,000. It would completely remove the marriage penalty. And it would raise the maximum income that disabled people on SSI can receive from far below the poverty line, where it currently is, to on the poverty line. This would significantly improve the lives of millions of disabled and elderly people, so it's really important that this bill gets passed, and there are ways that you can help. If you live in the US, you can text sign PSLOAE to 50409, and a resist bot will automatically send a letter to your state's reps urging them to pass the bill. It's super easy, seriously. We both did it and it only took a couple minutes. Another way that you can help is by contacting your representatives yourself by calling or emailing them, and we know that might sound kind of daunting, but we both did it and it's actually really easy. You can go to whoaremyrepresentatives.org to find out who your local reps are, and it will also tell you their contact info, so you can call, email, or write to them. We'll put that link in the description. And don't worry if you don't know what to say, we'll also link to some scripts you can recite over the phone or copy and paste into an email. Please share this information and spread the word to as many people as you can. The more people we can get to help, the more likely we are to get this bill passed. Alright, let's continue. Number 2. A lot of disabled people have also developed some type of mental illness. This is something we really wish more people talked about. Here's a stat for you. When surveyed, 8% of able people reported having experienced some type of mood-altering disorder, whereas 32% of disabled people have reported experiencing a mood-altering disorder. Think about it. Not knowing if your needs are going to be accommodated or fearing for your safety every time you leave your house can cause a lot of anxiety. And not being able to work or constantly feeling like a burden can lead to a lot of depression. PTSD is also common amongst disabled people. A lot of us have experienced medical trauma, pain, or uncertainty regarding our future, and that can be traumatizing. There's a high chance that any disabled person you meet, no matter how happy, bubbly, and optimistic they may seem, is dealing with a lot in their heads, because even with the endless ways that their disability can affect their mental health, disabled people aren't immune to experiencing things like loss, abuse, and other awful things that can lead to mental illnesses. Sometimes those mental illnesses are so severe they turn into another disability. Number 3. A person can have more than one disability. You can be born with a disability and develop another disability later in life. You can be born abled, develop a disability at some point, and then develop another one later in life. You can be born with multiple disabilities. You can have multiple disabilities that all stem from one condition. The universe does not care if you already have one disability. It could always hand you another. Number 4. Disability fluctuates. Someone may be able to do something on one day, but not on another. It might take a disabled person a low amount of energy to do a task one day, but a lot of energy to do the same task on a different day. For us with our vision impairments, sometimes times we can be out in the bright sun all day and not be affected, but other times we can't even be out in it long enough to take the trash out without getting a screaming light sensitivity headache. Or some days we can read small print with no hassle, but other days we struggle to read large print. Someone's ability can vary due to all kinds of things like stress, their environment, how tired they are, etc, etc, etc. If someone can't do something that they were able to do yesterday, or they can now perform a task that they couldn't last week, don't assume they're faking it. Disability fluctuates. Number 5. Not everyone's experiences with disability are the same. Two people with the same specific disability may each have completely different experiences with it. Two people might both be blind, but what they see might be totally different. And two people with progressive hearing loss might lose their hearing at different times at different paces. We have scarily identical diagnoses, but our vision and our experiences are actually quite different. Everyone has different pain tolerance, different levels of resilience, different environmental factors, and so on that may affect the way they experience their disability. Number 6. Being disabled doesn't guarantee you'll have access to the treatment and or medication that you need. When you develop a disability, you aren't just magically handed all the medication, treatments, doctors, accommodations, benefits, and resources that you need to cope with it. These things can be expensive, even with insurance, and not everyone has access to them. It's important to remember that a disabled person from a wealthy family living in a big city is probably going to have a lot more opportunities and resources than a disabled person from a lower class family living in a rural area or a second or third world country. We talked earlier about how flawed the system is here in America. If it's this bad here, we can't imagine how bad it must be in countries with worse systems, or no system at all. And let's not forget that you can't get access to a lot of these resources without a formal diagnosis, which a lot of us don't have the privilege of getting. Not everyone can afford to go see a doctor or travel to their nearest specialist. These people often won't be able to receive prescribed medication, medical procedures, and other resources, yet they're still disabled. And side note, if a disabled person has been diagnosed and is receiving treatment, that doesn't mean they aren't disabled anymore. The treatment may help regulate or manage their symptoms, but they are still disabled. Treatment is not the same thing as a cure. Number 7. Some disabilities are invisible. We've already discussed how mental illnesses can be disabilities, and those obviously aren't visible, but disabilities can affect any part of the body, most of which is not visible. Some disabled people may look disabled, but some disabilities are tucked away under our clothes or under our skin. You may think you know what some disabilities look like, but that isn't always true. Not every deaf person wears a hearing aid. Not every blind person uses a cane. Not every wheelchair user uses one full time. Just because someone doesn't meet your expectations of what a specific disability looks like doesn't mean they aren't disabled. Also, remember that there are several disabilities that you don't even know about. This is really important to consider when we think about accessible bathroom stalls or parking spaces. You might see someone using one and think that they shouldn't be using it, but you have no idea why they might need it. You should never judge anyone using them whose situation you don't know, and you should never use them if you yourself aren't disabled. Number 8. Knowing someone is disabled does not tell you what they can and cannot do. Some disabled people are more independent. They can work, live alone, and take care of themselves, while others cannot. You might think that someone who only has one arm can't do the things that you use two arms to do, but that is not always the case. Humans are very adaptive creatures, and if you take away one of our senses, or even one of our limbs, we will still often find a way to do things. Granted, there are still going to be things that we can't do, hence the term disabled, but you can't just assume what those things are. Some disabled people can even do things that you would find ironic based on their disability. For example, there are deaf musicians, blind artists, paralyzed athletes, etc. Number 9. Anyone can become disabled at any point in their life. Disability does not discriminate against race, class, gender, sexuality, age, religion, etc. When you think about it, we will all eventually be disabled if we live long enough. The aging process will probably take away some of your vision or your hearing or your mobility, and you can contract an injury or an illness at any point in your life. So abled folks, next time you vote for a politician who doesn't support disabled rights, or you use an accessible parking space that you know you don't need, you may want to think about how sorry you'll be when you become disabled and these resources aren't available to you. Remember that bill we talked about earlier? The SSI Restoration Act? Whether or not that bill gets passed could determine whether or not your future self lives in poverty. Think about that. Please help get this bill passed. And finally, number 10. Disability is not a bad thing. Too often we see able people respond to disability with pity or sorrow or even awkwardness. Some will even go as far as to tell a disabled person they shouldn't call themselves disabled because they shouldn't put themselves down like that. But disabled is not a negative word. It's just an adjective that someone might use to describe themselves so you can know more about them. Like when somebody says they're a blonde or that they're tall. These aren't good or bad things about them. They're just things. And when someone says that they're tall, people don't go, no, there's so much more to you than that, or no, you're the perfect height. Why would you say that? So why do we act that way about disability? There certainly are some negative sides to being disabled, but there are negative sides to everything. When we only acknowledge the bad, we create a lot of negative stigma and self-esteem issues surrounding disability. Plus, there are a lot of positive things about disability and neutral things about disability, and those deserve to be acknowledged too. Well, there we go. No matter who you are or what your relationship is with disability, we hope you learned something from this video, or at least maybe it gave you something to think about. And don't forget, there are several links in the description about the SSI Restoration Act bill. Please check them out. Please spread the word. Please share this video. Please text sign PSL08E to 50409. Please do whatever you can to help get this bill passed. Please. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up down below, and if you're new here, you can subscribe and turn on our post notifications to find out when we post new videos. Big thanks to those of you who already have. And you can check out our social media if you want to follow us and see what else we get up to. And don't forget, we are running a sale over on our Patreon if you want to support our videos and get some cool stuff in return. We really appreciate you watching this video and taking the time to hear what we have to say. You matter a lot to us and to the world, you lovely individual, and we'll see you soon. Happy Disability Pride Month!